Hi everyone, and welcome to the September edition of What I Eat in a Day on a Mediterranean Diet. The foods that are in season in September are all kinds of berries right now, and the grapes are really in season right now too, and the late summer tomatoes are just gorgeous. I found a really interesting cheese at Whole Foods the other day. So I think in the afternoon I'm going to build a cheese plate with some fruit around it, put some grapes and some berries around it. I think that'll be a nice treat in the afternoon. And I have a surprise for you for dinner because I know I make a lot of vegetarian recipes and a lot of plant-based recipes, but this evening we're going to make meat. I have a recipe for Fettuccine Bolognese, which is out of this world. It's my brother's recipe, and I'm telling you, it's better than any restaurant or any Nona's Fettuccine Bolognese that I've ever had. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. It takes a little bit of work to make, but it's so worth it in the end. But first, let's have some breakfast. For breakfast, I'm making some scrambled eggs. I just put a little bit of milk in with 4 eggs. And I have this cherry pepper relish that I made, and I don't have a video for this, but I do have a blog post, and I'll put a link to it down below. I'm just going to put a spoon of that in with the eggs. And I'm going to scramble this up. We're going to serve it with this rustic Italian bread that I bought at the bakery. And I'm going to slice up a side of an avocado, and you'll see it all come together. And now to finish off my coffee, I'm having a little Italian cookie. Time to build the cheese plate. Well, here I've built my cheese plate. I have some blueberries and some red grapes. This is a white Stilton cheese with lemon peel in it. I thought that sounded really interesting, so I thought with the lemon peel we're going to go with fruit instead of something savory like olives. We have a French baguette we have sliced here. I think is a nice little afternoon treat because after breakfast, I don't always eat breakfast, so I'm not super hungry for lunch, and I think this will be a nice in-between meal before we have our big Fettuccine Bolognese dinner. This cheese is delicious. Might have to open a Prosecco. Step 1 of the bolognese sauce, I have a small onion here, I have some carrots, some celery, and some garlic. And we're going to put these in a food processor and make a little paste out of them, and that is the first thing we're going to start cooking. And now we're going to transfer that pulp into this wide frying pan. We have some olive oil in here warming up. As you can see, as this is cooking, it's starting to turn a pale yellow, and that's when you know that it's ready. Here we have about a pound of beef, and we have 1 hot Italian pork sausage. Traditionally, I've seen bolognese sauce made with chicken livers, but I'm just not a chicken liver kind of person. So the Italian sausage really has a nice flavor, and I think it gives it its special taste. So when you think of bolognese sauce, you're thinking of ground beef, right? Well, this is all going in a food processor, and it's going to get ground up. So yes, we're making our own ground beef. We're just chopping up this beef into smaller sections just so it's easier in the food processor. And we're also taking the skin off the sausage. We're starting with the beef to give it a head start. In goes the ground meat, and we're just going to blend it all together. Every time we make this, we're always a little surprised that the vegetables disappear completely into the meat, but they do. You just have to give them time. As we brown, you can see it's making a natural gravy, but we will still be adding some liquid to this in a couple of minutes. So now we're adding a 1/4 cup of whole milk. And we're going to add a healthy pinch of nutmeg. I always wondered, why do you add nutmeg? We asked Iron Chef Mario Batali. We talked to him on Twitter. We don't know him personally. Why do you add nutmeg to certain recipes? And he said, creates complexity. But any Italian nonna will tell you that you stir nutmeg into a recipe because it keeps the husband faithful. So don't miss out on the nutmeg. What we do know is that the milk helps break down the fat in the meat. And now we're going to add some red wine. It's about a 1/2 cup. Sounds like a lot, but the alcohol will burn off. So we're going to let this go for about 5 minutes or so, and you'll start to see all these colors turn into a brown gravy. We're using 2 28-ounce cans of whole peeled tomatoes, and they're going into the food processor. Now we're just going to pulse these for a few times because we want this to remain chunky. Now the meat is ready for the tomatoes. We've reserved a few of them just to crush in by hand because it's so satisfying to do it by hand. And you also want to include the juice that was in the bottom of the cans. At this stage, this is when you add your own Italian spices. So I'm adding some oregano, we've added some salt. I'm not going to add any pepper because the Italian sausage is very hot, so it adds a lot of heat on its own. Just add whatever are your preferred herbs and spices. And now we're going to bring this to a boil, and we're going to let it boil for about a minute or 2 because we want to reduce the liquid somewhat. And then we're going to cover it, reduce the heat, and let it go for about an hour. And you might want to check on it periodically to give it a stir and see how it's doing. For the last half hour, we're going to take the lid off. Doesn't that look good? And here it is, Fettuccine Bolognese, serving it with a simple salad with some lettuce and cucumber. Got some bread, a little cheese on top. There you go. Thank you for joining me today for What I Eat in a Day on a Mediterranean Diet, September edition. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video and if you tried the Bolognese sauce. And also, you can always make special requests. I'm always looking for ideas for videos, so if there's anything you want me to make, just put it in the comments below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and join me next time. Bye!